Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'll be reviewing the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5811-1G in white gold with a blue dial. I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the Nautilus. Then I'll tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Nautiluses. Then I'll tell you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet movement, and finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. Now, the Nautilus came out in 1976. That's nearly 50 years ago, 4 years after the famous Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, and was designed by the same designer, Gerald Genta, who designed the Royal Oak. And these two iconic watches have since gone on to become I'd say, the most desirable watches in their respective collection, in Audemars as well as the Patek collection. And rightfully so. It's a very beautiful design. It's unique. It's timeless, as it's been going on for more than 50 years. And there's a lot of demand behind it. In fact, I would say the most demanded watches in Patek are the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. And the Aquanaut is derived from the Nautilus. So really, it all is about the Nautilus. Now, of course, they make a lot of other great watches and such. So I'm not going to say it's all about the Nautilus, but the Nautilus gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so. So we're going to go through it and tell you about each little part and why it's good and why it is this expensive. Okay, that's a little bit about the history of the Nautilus. Now, the Nautilus, since it came out 50 years ago, has gone through many variations. They made a big one, I think it was like 40 or 41, and then they dropped the size to make a smaller, like 36 to 38, and then they made it big again at 40, and then now they're at 41. And they made many variations of the complications. They have like a moon phase one, a calendar. They have a travel time, like a perpetual calendar, and the no date. So they got a lot of different variations and a lot of different materials, dials, etc. A lot, because it's been out for 50 years. Okay, that's a little bit about the history, okay? And let's talk about where this one stands in the lineup of other similar Nautiluses. Well, the Nautilus, I can break it down into 4, or let's say 5 basic groups, and I separate them by complications. It's separated by the most basic complication, what you see here, date and time. That's it, 3 hands and a date. Patek calls it date sweep seconds. Okay, you could basically call it date. The next section that they have is the 5712, which is the moon phases. It has a moon phase and an asymmetrical dial. It has the same case as what you're looking at here, thin. And then you have a annual calendar moon phase, which is the 5726. Then you have a chronograph, which is 5980. And then you have a travel time, which is a 5990. And then finally you have a perpetual calendar, which is the 5740. So I guess that would be 5 or 6 different models. But they're all Nautiluses. They all look the same. They just have different levels of complications. What you're looking at here right now is the most basic, just time and date. Now, so you might say, well, I don't want the most basic. Well, you know what? Most basic actually does very well. Some people like the very clean, simple look of it. There's not a lot of stuff on the dial, so it's really super clean. And that's the date and time. Now, this replaces the older 5711, which was, they made it in steel and it was 40 millimeter, and they have replaced it. There's some changes, which I'll tell you about in a little bit, and they have increased the size from 40 millimeters to 41 millimeters. And when I try this on my wrist in a little bit, you'll see that it's actually a good decision for them to change it from 40 to 41. I think it was a little bit, the watch is already super thin as it is, and to make it 41 just makes it a little bit beefier. And it is a sports watch. That's the whole purpose. It's a classic sports watch, actually. All right, and it's done in white gold, by the way. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, so that's where this watch stands in the lineup. It's a successor of the 5711. Currently, it's the only time and date Nautilus, and it's made in white gold with a blue dial. This is the only variation they offer right now. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this 5811-1G, starting with the case. The case, as I told you, it's very similar to the old one in terms of looks. Actually, it looks exactly the same, except it's 41 millimeters instead of 40 millimeters. The height is 8.2 millimeters, which is super thin, actually. When I tried this watch on my wrist, I thought, dang, this watch is really thin. Almost even too thin to be a sports watch. It's almost dress watch level. But that's because it doesn't have any complication. It has literally just time and date only, which is not, I don't really consider that a complication. I mean, a date is not really a complication. It's part of the time. And most watches have it these days. Okay, so that is the thickness. And the old one was also very thin. The difference now, though, it's made in white gold, which is not as durable, but it makes the watch heftier and looks, actually the steel and white gold look very similar. So, but at any rate, it's 41 millimeters. So that is quite nice. So let's move on here to the dial. Now the dial actually is also a little bit different. This one is a sunburst blue with a black gradient rim. So it gets darker toward the periphery with a black gradient rim. Of course, it still has the same horizontally embossed waves, or not waves, lines going through, the same like before. But the old blue was a matte, did not have this sunburst blue to it. This one has a sunburst blue, as basically like a shiny blue to it. And the rest are the same though, the hour markers, the luminescence, very simple dial, so I can't talk all day about it, but it is a very beautiful blue. It is different from the predecessor, and it is larger, so that's what you need to know about it. The bezel now is probably the most interesting part of this, aside from the case actually. The case is also quite interesting in that it has this symmetrical left-right, looks kind of like a porthole on a ship. That's what they were going for. Or at least Gerald Genta was. You see it has this sort of, this on left and right side, it has this, I don't know, handle or something on the case. It looks symmetric. I think it's nothing more than aesthetic because I don't think there's anything inside it. But it allows the, I don't know. Anyways, it looks really cool though, okay? So left and right side. And it's like that on all the other Nautiluses too. And it's part of what makes this watch look really cool. And the bezel is not an octagon like the Royal Oak that would be copying. So they changed it a little bit, and it has many more sides. So it actually almost looks like a square, but it's like a rounded square. Hard to say. It just has a very unique dial to, or bezel to it. And it's made, of course, in white gold. Okay, now let's move on here to the bracelet. The bracelet actually is so beautiful. It's one of the best parts of this watch, and it's an integrated bracelet. And not only is an integrated bracelet it's cool, it's beautiful, the biggest name in the industry, Rolex, has, in my opinion, copied and tried to enter this, join on this bandwagon for integrated bracelet watches in the Land Dweller. If you look at the Land Dweller, it more or less looks like a Rolex version of a Royal Oak or a Nautilus, which has the integrated bracelet. And of course, it's done in their own way. But Rolex has decided, you know what? Patek and Audemars has an integrated bracelet, and it looks really cool. They're making tons of money on it. We should probably do the same. So they do, and they have their own. Now, AP and Patek are the originators to this, and I think theirs probably looks better. So there you have it. And you know, the result is what you see here. The bracelet is one of the coolest parts. It's integrated. What do I mean by integrated? It doesn't look like you just strapped on a standard bracelet onto it and then use the same bracelet on everything. No, this bracelet is only used on the Nautilus. It's not used on any other bracelet, which makes it unique and integrated. And how is it integrated? Well, the high polish down the edge of the case extends down the length of the bracelet. The theme of this watch is also integrated into the center links of the bracelet, where you have a high polish bracelet and a satin finish overlooking. So it's just done very well. And also I might mention the 5811, be it that it's the newer successor of the 5711, it has an adjustable bracelet. That is a big deal. Practically wise is in that the bracelet allows you to change the millimeter. I think it's around 2 or 3 millimeters that you can change just by pulling on it here. On the underside you can see, This is the new style clasp. They started releasing this on all the newer style ones, I think in 22 or 23, something like that. And slowly all of them are going to have it. But it is very helpful because the old flip lock system, you did not have any change in bracelet whatsoever, actually, which kind of sucked. The watch would never really fit right. And it took them a long time to figure out how to execute a watch that can change the length. In fact, they did such a great job that I believe that Audemars Piguet will soon copy that, because right now Royal Oaks, you cannot change the length of the bracelet without any tools or removing links, and Patek you can. So that is one place that Patek is beating AP, although although AP started first, right? Okay, anyways, so that is the bracelet. Now let's look at the movement. The movement is also updated from the previous 5811. Now some 5711s have the new movement. This is a 26-330 SC-430. The movement, the older movement that used to be in here, I think it's a 324S or something. Basically it looks the same. I can't really tell the difference when I look at the movement. Maybe there's some subtle thing, but it does basically looks the same. The one thing it does differently is that it has hacking seconds. That means when you pull the crown out, that the second hand stops. Now, to be honest, it's not a really big deal, and also I always just wonder, why did it take Patek like 30 years to figure out how to make a movement that stops when the second hand, when you pull it out? It seems kind of strange that it would take them so long, being that they're one of the top brands. So, but anyways, I guess it has. And this one has it. So there you have it. It's modern. It's got the upgraded bracelet. It has a new movement that has hacking seconds. It's a little bit bigger size. It's made in white gold. What's there not to like? All right, time to try this watch on my wrist. Now, I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. And as you can see, the size of 41 is perfect, just like I was telling you at the beginning of this video. Now, for those who are watching this at home and thinking about buying it, I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, I'm going to go and buy this at the authorized dealer. The retail price is only like, 75,000 and change, 80,000, and you're selling it at jazztime.com for well into the hundreds, mid-hundreds. Oh, I'm going to save myself some money at the authorized dealer. Oh, no, you're not. You know why? You're going to go to authorized dealer. They're going to give you some garbage watch that you're going to lose $30,000 on when you resell it, and you're not even going to like it. And then you'll get promised this Patek Nautilus, and it'll come like 5 years later when you don't even want it. And by then you'll have spent like $1 million or close to it. And maybe you'll get this watch, maybe you won't. And so it'll just be a huge nightmare for you. To solve that, you can simply go to jazztime.com and buy this watch at the current market price. And if you don't like it, you could sell it back at the current market price. So yeah, it's going to be a much smarter idea. But look, anyways, if you want to buy this watch at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.